Hello, and welcome to Beyond Books, where we talk about books and go beyond. I'm your host. I'm Renee, co-host Raina. Snack of the day is going to be bones, B-O-N-Z. So I'm going to break them up just a little bit. They're kind of big, if I can. Here we go. And Raina had a nice day today. It's a little bit nicer out than what it has been recently. And so we went to the park and she got to play with some of her friends at the dog park. And then we went on a little hike on one of the trails there. So she's had a good time. She sat in the sun for a little while. So she's had a very nice day, as have I. So today, what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to do a book review of my book of the month for February. And that book is Good Dirt by Charmaine Wilkerson. This is Miss Wilkerson's second novel. If you recall, her first was Black Cake, which I read at the beginning of this month, and I'll be talking about a little bit more when I do my monthly wrap-up. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. Now, Good Dirt was released on January 28th of 2025, so it's a relatively new release. So let's talk about what I thought about this. First, we'll discuss what the book is about. Now, this is going to be spoiler-free. The information that I give you here really is no more than you would get on the book jacket, or certainly if you were to look at the blurb that they put on Amazon or something like that. So the book starts out with 10-year-old Ebby Freeman and her 15-year-old brother, Baz. His name is Basil, but he goes by Baz. And they're posing for pictures, first day of school kind of thing, with this old jar that the family has in the house. And when you look at this cover, you can actually see the pottery jar. It doesn't really come to your eye right away with the way that the cover is, but yeah, they got the jar on the cover. And so they're posing with this jar. Now, like I say, the jar is made of clay. It has handles on the sides. And so they decorated it with a hat and eyes, and the handles are the ears. They made it into a little person. And they call it Old Mo. And we come to find out later in the story that this jar has been in their family for many generations. Now, after that first chapter that talks about that, you fast forward 1 month, and Baz and Ebby are home alone one day when Ebby, who was upstairs, hears a gunshot. Unfortunately, she finds that her brother, Baz, is lying on the floor. He has been shot. He's dead. And there are pieces of the jar just everywhere. It has shattered. So now we fast forward again in the story, approximately 20 years to the present day. And we find that the crime of Baz being shot has never been solved. And the Freemans at the time were one of the only Black families in a particularly well-to-do neighborhood in Connecticut. So the case, having had some unusual circumstances and shocking circumstances, more of which we find out about later, stays within the public eye. And it always generates some interest year after year when the anniversary comes up and things like that. So unfortunately now in the present day, there's also another difficult crossroads for Ebby in that her high-profile romance seems to be falling apart. And the family really doesn't want to be in the news again for something negative. So Ebby ends up going to France to visit a friend, and unfortunately her past seems to come up again there. And as she tries to process what happened and what's happened to her, she begins to think about the loss her family suffered on that day, not only of their brother, but also of the stoneware jar that had been in their family for so many generations. We find out that the jar was brought north by an enslaved ancestor. And as Ebby begins to recall the events of the day when her brother was shot, she starts to realize some truths about the situation. And as the book continues, we get different perspectives and timelines, and the history and fate of the jar starts to become, somewhat of a metaphor, I guess, for Ebby's shattered family and life. So that's what I'm going to give you as far as a synopsis is concerned. So what did I think of the book? Well, again, I loved Black Cake. And Good Dirt has some very distinct similarities to it. Black Cake was also a multi-generational story about how the past can affect our present day and our future. In Black Cake, the object that threaded kind of throughout the novel and tied the different timelines, generations, and characters together was the family recipe for the black cake. Because they would make that cake for many of their family celebrations and events. In Good Dirt, the jar is the object that holds the symbolism for the family. But overall, I would say that I actually liked Good Dirt even slightly better than Black Cake. I thought it was a little more engaging, and I enjoyed the mystery surrounding what actually happened on the day of the shooting. I thought the story maybe came together a little better. I liked the tension between the characters. It just felt a little more real to me. And maybe, for me at least, a little bit more relatable. So what star rating would I give Good Dirt? Well, this book currently has 4.4 on Amazon and a 4.15 on Goodreads. Black Cake, by the way, has about the same. So I gave Black Dirt 5 stars. Yeah, I think it deserves it. This is a very good book. If you like historical novels that have maybe a little more romance and mystery to them, then you'll definitely like this book. I do recommend it. In fact, I'll even say this. I've been with Book of the Month for about a year and 3 months now. And so far, this is one of the best books that I've received from them. The others would be The Women by Kristen Hanna and The Lion Women of Tehran by Marjan Kamale. And this was, definitely a favorite of mine. So that's a wrap for today, my friends. Please remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you have not already. I want to thank you very much for watching and have a great day.